Hi, Tim Sisson here, First Home Mortgage. I've sent you to my website to fill out an application. Just wanted to walk you through some of the steps because there's sometimes some confusion on what questions need to be answered, how you need to answer them, and really how to get started. So this will be easy once I kind of walk you through a few of the first initial steps. So I'm going to share my screen here so you can see where we are. This is my website. Okay, I've sent you here, and hopefully I've instructed you to click the get pre-qualified tab, whether you're purchasing or refinancing. But in most instances, it's going to be a purchase. It's going to take you to a screen. If you've never done a loan with First Home Mortgage before, you're going to start by clicking create an account. Okay, and then it's going to ask you first name, last name, email address, phone number, and then to create a username and password. Now I've already created one for this purpose. Okay, Tim Sisson Test 2021, and then the password. Okay, so we're going to log in here. It's going to take you to this screen. We're going to start essentially. This is a draft, so you can always come back to it. If you start and you get to section 2 or 3 or 4, there's 6 sections, and you need some time to gather some more information, or you just need to kind of revisit it. You can exit, and it'll save your progress. When you come back to start, it'll finish where you left off. So once you do that, referral source, if you're working with a realtor, you would type that person's name in if you found me online, or if it was an individual that that has referred you to me, just put their name in there so I know where you're coming from. I'd like to normally throw a thank you their way. Purchase a home, approximate purchase price. You may not know the approximate purchase price of what you're looking for. You might be waiting for me to dictate that number, but for this, I need some sort of jump off point, some sort of barometer. So in the perfect world, let's say you're looking for a purchase price of 300,000. Okay, so just put that in there and we'll sharpen it later. I might tell you, hey, you're approved to 350 or 400, or hey, we need to keep it at 275 because your debt to income ratios dictate that. We will sharpen that later. You're not held to that $300,000 number that you put in there, but just put something that you think would perhaps be your price range. How much do you plan for a down payment? If you have an allotted number, put it in there. But with USDA purchases and VA loans and down payment assistance, you might put 0. Feel free to put 0. That's a question that trips some people off. Money using for down payment. If you do have funds and are in checking and savings, of course, click that. If you're getting a gift from a family member, click that as well. If you aren't putting any money down, just go ahead and skip it. You can hit next. You don't have to put in a type of down payment if you're not putting any money down, or if you don't have the funds to put any money down. Have you identified a home to purchase? If you've already seen a home and you're definitely going to purchase that one, or at least pursue financing for that house, click yes. In most instances, I will say the answer is probably going to be no, because you get pre-qualified. Then you get out there and you start looking at homes in that particular price range. So most of the time it's going to be no. Now let's talk about some of these next questions here. So if you're looking in, let's say, Prince Frederick, then you put that in there. If you don't really know, you can leave that blank. If you know you're going to be in Calvert County or Anne Arundel or St. Mary's, put that in there. Of course, if you know what state, if you know what zip code, you don't have to necessarily, 678 is Prince Frederick, but you can leave some of these items blank. What type of property? If you're looking at condos, multifamily, most instances it's going to be a single family residence. That also encompasses townhomes. Property use, are you going to be living there? That's called a primary. If it's going to be a vacation home, it's a secondary. And if it's an investment property, it's a rental that you'll own. But in most instances, like I said, it's going to be a single family residence and a primary home. So we'll continue on. Joint credit. So if you are the only person that's going to be pursuing financing, you would click no here. Are you applying for joint credit with a co-borrower? And then it'll move forward with the application as if it's one person applying for this loan. If you're applying for joint credit, meaning you have a spouse or a partner or a boyfriend, girlfriend, a parent, a sibling, anybody that you're thinking you're going to be applying for this loan with, together, your qualifications merge together, then the answer to this question is yes. You are applying for joint credit. How many borrowers? If it's a single person, that question is no. So this next field doesn't matter. But if you are applying with a spouse, of course, it would be 2. So I'm going to click no here. and then move on. And then it's just going to start asking questions: name, social, date of birth, marital status. You continue on, you see the over here, my cursor, some of your expenses. If you have child support or alimony, anything like that, most of your expenses are going to be populated by your credit report. Auto loans, credit cards, student loans, those all come in from your credit report. These extraneous expenses are things that don't report to credit, like I said, child support, alimony, the rent that you pay. If you're paying $1,200 a month, it's good for me to know that, so I kind of have an idea of what you're comfortable with. Assets, that's a big question on this application. When you get to the assets section, you can manually enter your assets, okay, by clicking here. And you would put in, I bank with Bank of America and I have $5,000 in my checking account, or I bank with Navy Federal Credit Union and I have $1,200 in my savings account. You would manually put that information in. The import assets right here, that is a system we call Account Check. It's very cool. You put in your online banking credentials and it automatically imports all your information. It's very quick, it's very easy, and it's succinct in our system moving forward. If you go under contract, we have that information to then update, so you don't have to send us paper bank statements. So the import assets is a very cool tool, and we definitely encourage you to use that, but you can always fall back on the manual asset entry as well. Employment and income, who you employed with, what's your job title, how much do you make, your gross monthly income, of course. So down here, total monthly income before taxes. So if you make, let's just call a nice even number. If you make $60,000 a year, you're going to put $5,000 in that field, because that is your gross monthly income before taxes and everything else is taken out. If you have not been on your current job for 2 years, we want you to list previous employment as well. You're going to click this, add another employer, so we can compile a 2-year employment history in our system. Additional income is here. So, if there are any questions about these things, you can always reach out, but I'm likely going to sharpen all of this. If you put in as much as you think you can, and you get to the end, you hit submit, I will fill in the blanks later. So don't feel the need to be perfect. We want you to do the best job you can. This is just a preliminary item that allows us to get as much information as we can, so that we don't have to be on the phones plugging and playing, what's your social? Sometimes I don't listen very well, so you might say, my phone number is 443 and I put in 410 just because that's the way my brain works. So I like this online application because it allows you to do it, and hopefully the information will be accurate, and then I will review it and we'll sharpen it later. So I certainly hope that this was helpful in getting you started on the application. We're going to have a lot of communication moving forward. I will certainly follow up with you, and we'll talk about what I'm seeing in your application after I pull your credit report and I take a look at your income, your assets, and fit you into a loan program. So this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of your mortgage process, but this really allows us to start moving forward. I appreciate you reaching out, and good luck on the application. Feel free to give me a call, text, anything you need to, and I'll certainly talk to you soon.